All right, again, I think for this one we can dispense with the pleasantries and let's just get right into what we just saw.
Yeah. you know,
Um,
hold on. There have been times where we've watched good episodes and I wanted to like rewatch the episode maybe later on that day.
yeah,
Or, one will come on and I'm like, oh, I definitely want to watch that again before next week. Other than the season finale of Mandalorian last season, I don't know if there's ever been a time where the episode finished and I looked at Stace and I said, can we just put it back on again?
so I wake up at an ungodly hour to watch these because the kids are up, and I have both kids in my arms. They're bickering back and forth on who gets to snuggle daddy, and like I'm trying my hardest to listen, and like I feel like I'm very close to becoming Beauchamp because I'm almost turning the subtitles on because sometimes they're just talking about so much stuff. There's so much distraction going on. But to your point, this episode, there's so much happening. There's so much to unpack. There's plot points kind of teasing where we're going in the future in the grand scheme of things. And then there's just a smattering of Easter eggs and tributes to Star Wars before. And like
crazy.
There's like to your point, I'm going to rewatch this one again tonight just because there was so much, and I know I missed stuff on first viewing, given the little Rugrats with me. So
I actually have watched this entire season with subtitle or with the closed captions on.
Have you? Yeah.
Yeah, because like there have been times like in this one they message or they've use words like dank ferric.
Yeah.
But I never would have picked up that they'd use like dank. Like they've used abbreviated forms of it, and I would have missed that if I didn't. I almost thought they used the term flux capacitor today. But it was thrust. It was thrust capacitors. I was dying. I'm like, there's no way they just did that.
All right. So before we dive into the nitty gritty, last week I kind of ended shouting out the director as a side note, which I want to bring up. So I just want to shout out right from the beginning. So this one was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, who's now a veteran of these Disney Plus series.
Yep.
She did her first episode was the Sanctuary episode, season 1 of Mando with the Walker. I know some people thought that was a weaker one, but like that Walker looked like T-Rex coming to the bush. Like I thought it was sick. And then 100%. She did the Bo-Katan introduction episode, which was awesome. So it made sense that considering we got an episode that was very Mando, let's be honest, it was a Mandalorian episode.
It really was.
Just wedged into Boba Fett season. It made sense for her to be the one to potentially handle the story, right?
Yeah, and at the end of our thing today, I'm going to ask you because we obviously both loved this episode. I'm going to ask you the unfair question of, did you love it because it was a Mandalorian episode and not a Boba Fett? So just kind of think about that as we go through it, right?
I've already been you know what? Let's just get right into it right now.
Okay.
There's been lots of talk about Boba Fett, some controversy with the series and stuff like that. And I think for a lot of people, this so far is their favorite episode. Does it say something that a Mando only, like we didn't even see Boba once in this episode, unless you watch the recap at the beginning.
Yeah.
Does it say something that the Mandalorian having his own episode in the Boba Fett series is the best episode of the show?
Yes, but I don't think the reason it's the best episode is because it was a Mando show. I think the reason it's the best episode so far is because you, me, and anyone else who watches this and who has followed the series have been waiting for that episode where Mando and Boba get back together. Like when Boba Fett showed up in the Mando episode,
ties it all
people
into
lost
the things,
their mind.
And that's the moment where people are, the Leo meme, right? Pointing at the screen. That's the guy.
Yep. Yeah.
It's kind of unfair, but you know what? I think they're in for a hell of a team up. Considering the intro we get to Mando is probably something people have been wanting to see Boba Fett do on his own show. He just slashed through these people, and
with his sloppy darksaber work.
Yeah, he is very much proud of having the darksaber, and he is using it whenever it seems necessary. Not well, but
I want to have like an entire side conversation on his inability to wield the saber based on this inherent weight that it brings
Yeah,
as he starts to
I
use
had
it.
a note about that. Like, why this is this first instance where we've had where a lightsaber is like heavy. He was struggling lifting the damn thing.
He's fighting it. So
Yeah.
it's obviously not a physical thing. It's not a
he's
heavy
dragging it
blade.
across the ground. It's like he's using a big broadsword from back in the day. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, that was interesting that the actual, you would think a plasma blade, right? Doesn't kind of weightless.
And it's not it's not heavy. The blade itself is not heavy, but why does it carry so much weight?
Yeah. Like, I get it symbolically, but
100%.
But yeah. So definitely, yeah, that's an interesting thing. And just again, like from the direction standpoint, I just love little things like this. Let me just show you here real quick. There we go. Like at the end of this badass scene, right? We get I'm gonna mute this. So we get okay. So we get the obviously cut in half.
Yeah.
Right. And then, kid show. But as he's walking out, he's going to grab the head. Come on. I don't want to. If I do 10 seconds ahead, it's going to do the old here. Okay. This is what I like right here. When they look back in, zip. There goes his head. It's like we do get kind of an on-screen decapitation.
Yep.
Again, it's very tastefully done. Very enjoyable. I just little subtle things. Again,
if you dig into that, he did not look like he was struggling when he chopped the head off.
Yeah. So was it interesting
psychologically that's going on there? Because you could see him dragging it during the fight, but when he picked it up to chop the guy in half and to decapitate him, the weight wasn't there. Like, what is it psychologically that makes that transition, right?
Yeah. So we see Mando chasing down bounties again, and I was like, is he really chasing? Is he back to bounty hunting after everything? But it turns out he's just looking for the Mandalorian enclave. So he finds the armor. He finds Paz Vizsla. They do their thing, and
you had to know where that was going.
Yeah.
As soon as
you can see him staring at him when he's like when he pulls the Darksaber out, he's like, you got that?
Yeah, like really?
Yeah,
because they were Death Watch, right? They were the extremists on the moon.
Well, and then Tar Vizsla, right, was the Jedi who created the Darksaber. So it's literally his ancestors' weapon. Yeah. Right. So if anyone has, not that he has any more right to it than anyone else, given what the symbolism of the sword, but it's his family's where it originated. Yeah. So they have their duel, which is cool. Like it's very Mandalorian-esque. And it's neat that Mando kind of gets kicked out because they bring it up right away that he's revealed his face.
So, and I got asked this during the show, and I forget, is the only time his helmet came off was when the droid helped him, or did he take it off at the end for Grogu?
He took it off for Grogu, but he also took it off in that episode, technically for Grogu, with Mayfeld, where he had to scan his face in the computer to access where Gideon's ship would be.
That's right.
So he's taken it off a couple times now.
Yeah. Which,
to be honest, I think Mando's a lot better when he can take the mask off and humanize him and all that stuff. Like show some emotion when it's whatever. Because I have no doubt this season this whole episode was just a David Prowse like Darth Vader, and Pedro Pascal just comes and spits his lines and leaves. I don't think he ever put the suit on. Yeah. But yeah, so it's interesting that he's like, again, these are fanatics. Remember what Bo-Katan said. So he's kind of out in their eyes, unless what they say he has to go bathe in the
mines underneath Mandalore.
In the mines under Mandalore. So that's a huge line there. So we know 100% now, season 3, he's going to Mandalore.
Is he?
Like, well, that's his group. He wants to get back in with them, I think.
Yeah, but I would like to think that I actually think he's going to go a different way. I think that he is going to obviously aid Boba Fett, and I think rather than submitting to the Death Watch, the extremist way of thing, this is where I think you're going to see the Bo-Katan thing happen. This is where I think you're going to see the other side of the Mandalorian house, and he's going to join them where they have that freedom. Like, do you remember in the episode when they had their helmets off and he was losing his mind?
Yeah.
And they looked at him like, what sort of radicalist are you? And that's where you find out he was part of Death Watch. I think he's going to realize that being a Mandalorian is not the same as being part of Death Watch. And I
But
think that that's going to be that transition.
Here's the thing, though. For Mandalore to come back, right, they have to unite all the people. So if he goes to Mandalore and does his little bath time, he's also uniting all of the factions of Mandalore under the one true leader.
Not necessarily.
Oh, he's got to unite all the people. All the people.
I don't think so. I think you're going to see pushback from Bo-Katan's side of things.
Well, you think he's just done with them then? He's not going to see the armor again? He sought them out for a reason.
No, I think that it's actually going to happen the opposite way. I don't think maybe he will bathe in the things of Mandalore, but I don't think you will see Din Djarin, or I never say his bloody name right. Din Djarin. I don't think you'll see him with the helmet on. I think he will bring the extremists into this side of things. I think that he will unite Mandalore under that one shield, but it won't be based on the ideologies of Death Watch. I think you will see what's her face and Praz Vizsla take their helmets off.
He's taking a bath, full show. Okay, so let's just for a second, how epic was this scene?
Where she's making something.
Playing.
Oh my god, the 1,000 tears.
Yeah.
Those born of Mandalore strayed away.
So now we know what the Empire did.
Eventually, the Imperial interlopers destroyed.
I had a very Terminator 2 Judgment Day Terminator feel here.
Have you ever seen that many TIE bombers? And that's like the capital. You know how they fly into that, and inside that dome is like the city.
Yep.
It's all gone.
Yep. That's what I mean. Tell me this is not Terminator.
The K2SO droids.
Yeah.
The probe droids just searching for any living being.
Yeah. Whole bunch of T-1000s out there.
So they literally turned Mandalore to glass, which has been done a few times, I believe. And that many TIE bombers was epic.
What did she forge Grogu?
Good question. So you saw little circles falling down. So like, is it little Beskar chainmail?
That's what I was thinking.
That's what you're gonna think? Yeah, that's my guess. Yeah. Little Beskar chainmail. So,
but like a hood because he's a Jedi, and it would be unrighteous if it was just like a chainmail and it wasn't a hood as well.
Yeah. All right. So we got. So let's just wrap up Mando's plot here. He's found his enclave. He's been told to basically he's broken his creed. He needs to go bathe, whether or not he does it. He has the stuff made for Grogu, which we learn at the end who he has to pay. He wants to pay a visit to first. So that pretty much get out. We're gonna get Grogu next episode. Do we get Luke Skywalker now?
I don't think you can have one without the other. The question is, will he go right away? My gut tells me that he says he's going to pay a visit to a friend first, but I don't think he does. I think he gets held up because something happens on Tatooine in Mos Espa, almost in that moment. Or like he's literally going to stop by and pay Boba Fett a visit, and hell is going to break loose. I don't think we see Grogu and or Skywalker until the very end. So because it almost wouldn't make sense to, like, unless you're going to recruit Luke Skywalker to fight along Boba Fett, which, I mean... It
doesn't leave a lot of time left for Boba to finish his story if now we're going to spend another half... There's only 2 episodes left, right? We're going to spend another half episode for Mando to go jaunting around the galaxy. Here's my prediction. If they do go see Grogu, you're not going to see Luke. Luke's temple, like Luke's Jedi Academy temple things, like already been going, I think, or that's my guess anyways. And what you may see is another Jedi or someone else who works there kind of be the intermediary between the two, versus, you know, every time you have Grogu, you have to bust out Luke Skywalker on screen.
Maybe like a young Ben Solo.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like they gotta keep Luke separate, right? So when you see him, it's really special. I feel that's the way they're going to do, unless they cast a Luke Skywalker who's going to be a returning character throughout all this.
That's why I thought you might see him at the end.
Yeah, all for it, but I don't know if they're going to go that route. Okay, so
is it possible that Ahsoka is with him?
Nah, I don't think so. I think
Okay.
Ahsoka's doing her own dirty work, detective work. She's like,
Because
Batman out
like you
there.
see where I'm going with that, right? They're trying to intertwine all the stories. Does
Yeah.
Luke send Ahsoka Tano?
Well, we don't even know if they know each other, right?
Fair.
Logic says they do, but we haven't seen anything confirmed.
Yeah, it's fair.
Another point too, again, impact on Mando season 3 is when they're talking about Gideon, they're like, you should have killed him. And he's like, no, the New Republic has him. They'll execute him. And then he says something like, are you sure they will? Or something like that. That to
Mhm.
me is like the little bit of, we haven't seen the end of Moff Gideon. He's obviously going to be playing a role in the future, whether he escapes or they just keep showing him at trial or custody or whatever it is. We're going to be getting more Giancarlo Esposito faux show.
I think you're going to get Moff Gideon when you get Thrawn. I can't see those two not being intertwined.
And then, man, just so much stuff. How about that city they were on, the Halo ring?
Right?
Like how gorgeous is
So
that?
cool.
Like, you would keep going.
It reminded me of a circular Coruscant.
Yeah, you could keep going to damn Tatooine when we could be going to places like this. Like what the like. Thankfully, we did. Like I've been begging for new planets and more developed ones. Like they had like lo-fi club music going on, like the beats going. Like it was just I loved every aspect of it. And I hope we go back to whatever this Halo ring type planet or space station, whatever it is. It was sweet.
I agree.
Like just the work and the detail they put into. There's so many shots where you just look out the window and you just see the curvature of the ring.
So
like, and
cool.
just little ships going back and forth.
Did you ever see Elysium?
Yeah.
Damon?
Yeah. Kind of like Elysium.
All I kept thinking about was Elysium.
That's a good point. Yeah. Love that. And then we joked last week with one of our commenters about Mando was going to need to take a space Uber.
How about him having to check his weapons? Like, I'm a Mandalorian.
So he
you
does.
can wait till tomorrow.
He does have to fly commercial, so he checks his weapons at the. You see him. I was waiting for him to say, "Oh, this isn't a weapon," and keep the dark saber. But he checked it, so I thought that was funny.
Yeah, and the kid. I thought the little alien kid was cute.
And then, so we get to Tatooine, and we get the other. I can't remember her name, but now she's been in a few episodes. His favorite hanger friend,
and that's like another reason I watch the closed captions because it's like petite, Pettit Anne or something like that is her name.
Yeah. And like I was trying to think of things, like I was loving every aspect, and I was trying to think of things. Where am I going to be critical on this episode? And when she was hamming it up, and they were both hamming it up hard, building the N1 starfighter, like
so
how
cool,
sweet is it? We get that. But at the time, I'm like, man, like it's kind of silly. But then I'm like, you know what? This is Star Wars. I'm a ship nerd. Like this is like just like
pure fan
great.
Service.
Yeah, you know what's great? When he brings out the pole that they use in the trash that Leia uses to close the trash compactor.
Yes.
You bring him that exact thing, and Mando's like, oh, that's a blah, 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 blah. Where'd you get? Like, they just assign it a ridiculous name.
Yeah.
And like, that's hilarious. And then they put it in a thing. And then what I thought was even more funnier was when they asked the Jawas how you got it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, they went underneath a spice runner, a Pike spice runner, took it. And to me, like, I don't know if this is happening in other places in Ontario or in the world, but like my hometown has a very
Cadillac converters.
Yes, has a big problem with Cadillac converters getting stolen. And that's all I thought when they were like that. Like that is the space version
runners
of the Cadillac converter.
Yeah. One thing that jumped out at me in this, he was very anti-droid.
Yeah.
And what I enjoyed about this, because I think that they did it the right way, is there are two references to his relationship with droids. The first one was how he worked along and was thankful for the help with the light. Mm-hmm. And then he asked what happened to the droid pod.
Oh, yeah.
Couple neat nods in terms of his own growth, right?
And it was like his perception was he hates him, but you can almost see like he's like, oh, maybe I would want that astromech pod now.
You got it.
And like shout out to the little droid helping him. That was the droid model from Fallen Order, right? The video game.
Yeah, so good.
And then so they basically turned the Naboo starfighter into a hot rod. Like they even got the engine out of the hood.
Yep.
And then he rips down the Bunta Eve pod racing course, which was even does the same bend and the ramp is still there. Like he literally pod races that thing. which was amazing. Like it was like this episode was such like a love letter to the prequels, but not even the prequels, to Phantom Menace, right? You got
Yeah.
the pit droids, you got the pod racing course, you got the Naboo starfighter.
Yep.
Like
big
just so
time.
much cool
And even the
stuff.
story behind it, right? Like
Yeah.
the princess from Naboo rode this very like it's such tribute to it.
Yeah. And then he takes it into space, and then we get a repeat of the scene from again with the X-Wing showing up, pulling him over, and you go through the whole same conversation. Did you like that they essentially repeated that whole bit?
Yes, and I love that it was the same guy from Kim's Convenience.
Yeah,
Obviously, it wasn't Filoni. It was a rookie.
Yeah, it was a
rookie
random
pilot.
guy with the other guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it make the galaxy seem a little small when the same random X-Wing is pulling him over in a different part of the galaxy?
No, but it does actually raise one small concern. How can you be patrolling Tatooine with all these pikes running around? And that's a bit of a loaded question.
Well, it goes to show you, he even mentioned it when he tried to recruit Cara Dune, was out in the Outer Rim area, they got no resources. It's like the New Republic's hold is so like non-existent, right?
Yeah.
It's just random little patrols looking for Imperial remnants.
Yeah.
And then, I love it. Like, I was like, oh man, if they're repeating this, are we going to get an X-Wing scene chasing it? Which I secretly wanted, but I'm like, you can't repeat the entire thing.
No.
And then Mando just hits the boosters and he's gone. The guy's like, oh, he jumped to hyperspace so fast. He's like, no, it was in hyperspace.
Yeah.
That was just his sublights.
That thing flies.
Yeah.
He was flying it slowly. He's like, it's rumbly. He's like, this is a starfighter. It is not a gunship.
Yeah. So it is interesting now. Like, will he, like, it's a single seater. You know, he's not going to be transporting things. There's no, like, I guess Grogu.
There's room for Grogu.
In the future
That's it.
Yeah. Like, so he's a lone wolf kind of going forward.
But I can see this is where his relationship with Boba Fett, his access maybe to Boba Fett's palace. I'm always going to see it as Jabba the Hutt's palace. You know, is there an opportunity to store that fighter there long term?
Yeah, potentially.
Is there opportunity for him to have access to it while still having a gunship or something that can carry passengers? Because you're right. I mean, it's an incredible tribute, but like, it's not like he can carry any bounties with them unless he's just carrying their heads in the pod.
Yeah, like a just a small starfighter does not seem practical for what his profession typically is.
It is super cool.
I don't know if he's going to be bounty hunting going forward. Like, obviously he's going to do the odd job or not, but yeah, it's an interesting way they're going to take it.
Yeah.
Okay, what else we have? What else you got? Anything else?
Covered the ship. We covered what's her name? It was awesome.
Yeah, I think I got all my points out. Yeah, it was just the amount of stuff going on this episode was crazy. And then obviously, conveniently, Fennec finds him and recruits him, and Mando doesn't even want money because he owes Boba. So
I love that. This one's on the house. As soon as she said, like, he would really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So I still think we're going to get more muscle coming, although the Mando with wildly wielding a darksaber is pretty intimidating. But
will you see him develop the darksaber skills? Like, are we looking at the future leader of Mandalore? We already got
the little training montage, right?
Right, but
so I think he's going to be better.
Okay, so look ahead 17 million seasons. Yeah. Is he the rightful ruler of Mandalore?
Well, I think
make the prediction.
There's 3 candidates, right? Bo-Katan, him, or Boba. Because in EU, Boba became Mandalore, I believe.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So is it going to be Boba? No, I think Boba's out with his current storyline, what they're doing with him. At the end of the day, I think
could be the Vizsla.
My guess is it will be reluctantly will be Mando. He is the one. Everyone else has faults. And because of that, he's reluctantly going to have to be the guy.
I might go Bo-Katan.
I think Bo-Katan is just going to be a source of conflict, so to speak.
I think it's going to be Bo-Katan, and
Bo-Katan had her shot, right?
Right, but I think it's going to be Bo-Katan. Oh, I love how they explain, because remember the last episode, I was mad that she was given from Sabine Wren. She was given the Darksaber, but then they literally explained that in the episode in 5 seconds. I was like, never mind. I think it's going to be Bo-Katan, and I think you're going to see Sabine Wren at her right.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be Sabine Wren, and you're going to have Bo-Katan at her right. I'm going way out there with this prediction. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be the Mandalorian.
Mando all the way, because if he really didn't want it, he would have lost to past Vizsla and just passed that responsibility on.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Mark the date and time. See who's right.
So yeah. So anyways, 2 episodes left. It looks like we got Mando's in tow now. Whether or not he has to go for a quick jaunt to give Grogu his armor, we'll find out. But looks like it's 2 episodes in a row now where I've said that was the best episode of the season. That's always a good place to be. So saying that, do you remember what I gave last week? Did I give it 8.3 or 8.5?
You gave it 8.4.
8.4. All right. I'm going to score this one in 8.7.
So am I.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And I'll be honest, this dwindled on touching 9 for me. I loved it start to finish. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go 8.9.
8.9.
I'm going to boost because of the incredible, prequels have such a jagged history. Prequels have people that there's a large base of people that don't like the prequels. There's talk online about them redoing them. I loved the nod. I loved the classy tribute, the N1 starship. I just, racing through those canyons. That to me is an incredible piece of homage that was probably tough to do and probably was met with a little bit of controversy because there's so many haters of the prequels.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go 8.9. I was a massive fanboy for this thing start to finish.
You know what I'm going to do tonight? I'm literally going to take those scenes of him taking that N1 Starfighter through the pod race course. I'm going to roto him out, and I'm going to drop it in on the Anakin pod race. Because there's a few scenes where it looks like it almost matches up frame for frame, and see how if I could get it wiggling in at the right speed. It's going to be my little project.
All right.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to rewatch that episode.
Yeah.
I watched it upstairs. Tonight, I'm going downstairs to watch it.
Oh, you didn't even watch it downstairs?
No.
Whew.
No, I watched it upstairs with coffee.
But
I will be rewatching that this evening. That is a no-brainer.
Yeah, probably me too. All right, buddy. We will see y'all next week.
Cheers.
Okay, peace out.